So we welcome you for a short class on
Hare Krishna, what happened, Prabhu? Bhupalaka, Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Any network issue, Bhupalaka, Prabhu? Sudhamai Mataji?
Prabhu rejoin ಆಯ್ತು Prabhu ಒಳ್ಳು exit
Rejoin అవుతున్నారా? Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Prabhuji.
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, sorry for the interruption. There's some
No problem.
problem. So we shall begin our class. So today we are going to discuss a short verse from Srila Prabhupada books. So this is also about happiness. Last week we had something about what is happiness. So in continuation.
Prabhu, can you make me co-host?
Sure, Prabhuji. One second, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Done, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhu, you please carry on.
Hare Krishna. So, it's continuation with the topic we discussed a few sessions back about happiness. So, we're going to talk something about happiness and the hard struggle for happiness. So, right here, we're going to just start with a short kirtan and then in Mangalacharan prayers, and then we should begin the class. So, we have a short kirtan first. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-shalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stravit Meta Bhutare Swayam Rupakadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sadivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Shri Vishakan Shamsa हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णवेन्द्र की जय श्री रामदास हरिदास ठाकुर की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय श्रील गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु हरे कृष्णा. So I told you we are going to have a short session discussing about what is happiness, the real happiness, and how one can be really happy, not that the material happiness. So the Supreme Godhead, just without a second, is no, we know that he is fully cognizant and is eternally joyful personality with a full sense of his identity. So only thing is that we have to understand the Supreme Lord is the most happiest person, as the ever happiest person, and we as jivas, jivas, the minute samples of the Supreme Lord, are trying to be happy in the same way, but in this bhautika, in this material existence, it is hard to find happiness. It is very hard to find happiness. So every living entity desires the topmost level of enjoyment, correct? So we are trying to enjoy ourselves. We are trying to enjoy this life to the fullest. So, but we always know that we have already always been ending up in unhappiness. The little bit of joy, little bit of happiness that we try to experience is countered by unhappiness present. Okay, and now this unhappiness is present not only in this material world, that is this bhautika, but also in the upper planets also. Almost in all the upper planets, this unhappiness is present. Of course, we think that in Brahmaloka, Borloka, all these planets, there is no unhappiness. Yet there is unhappiness, because there also exists birth, death, disease, and old age. So how we can try to understand this better is, a fish in water only can live in water. When a fish taken out of the water is not possible to live happily. It is going to suffer. Definitely, it's going to suffer out of the water. So the fish has to be in the water. And whatever arrangement you make in the land, whatever arrangement you make on the land for the fish to survive, is not going to serve the purpose. So we know that the same way, the minute Satchit Ananda, that means Sat Chit Ananda, the living entity, cannot be really happy through any amount of planning received by this illusioned brain. So what is it called? The illusion brain. Our mind thinks, yes, we can be happy. Yes, we can do this to achieve this. We can establish this kind of a setup so that we can be happy. But nevertheless, we are not going to happy. So therefore, when we are given this title, happiness means happiness. Yes, we can achieve happiness. So that's what we are going to know about this discussion. In today, we are going to have this discussion. So our ambition should be aimed at enjoying the spiritual bliss and not this temporary happiness. So our ambition should be aimed at the spiritual bliss. So how do we get happy? Of course, you all have experienced, a little bit of service you do at your home, even at your home. You decorate your altar, you arrange nice flowers, the altar, you give a nice arati, and then you see how much happy you feel. That is real happiness. So, but actually, we are always hankering about different possibilities in pleasing the other person, in pleasing one person whom you want to impress. So that way, we are going behind lust and lusty activities. Sure, we are going to end with frustration in the long run. Also, we should understand that our material senses are like compared to the snakes. So what is that snakes? What do you mean by snake compared to the snakes means? Here I tell you, the snake body is very, very cool. Okay, it is very cool. So if one tries to take a snake and garland this venomous snake around himself and think that, oh, I'm going to remain cool. Yeah. So one day the snake is going to bite you. Okay. So the same way, the material senses are also compared to the snakes. The indulgence of material happiness will one or the other day going to kill you. So this kill our spiritual identity. So what is our spiritual identity? Why do we give so much importance to the spiritual identity? The spiritual identity is our we have to be identified as the soul, not this body. So therefore, a man should be ambitious to find out the real source of happiness. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all the places are of misery, where repeated birth and death are taking place. Okay, but if you ask Kunti Maharani, so we are all listening to Kunti Maharani pastimes all through this previous months. So how Kunti Maharani addresses to Krishna said, please, my dear Krishna, give me more trouble, give me more, give me more suffering, so that I can always remember you. So in this world, only we are only when we are in distress, we try to search, Sankata Ramana, Venkata Harana, like that only. We are always Sankata Harana, Venkata Ramana. That is what we always think. Only when trouble, oh my Lord, please help me. Oh my Lord, please, I'm finding. That is how we think. So we should always think that one should not be like that. So, but in Bhagavad Gita 8.16, Lord Krishna clearly explains. It says this statement, this translation. But one who attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. We have heard this many, many times. One who attains my abode. How do we attain this abode of Krishna? So that is the $1 billion question. Okay, how can we attain this abode of abode of Krishna? Abode means a place where Krishna is living. So okay, so the demonic person thinks that I have so much wealth today, I will gain more according to my schemes, and now such of that mine is and I will increase it more in the future and future. So this is also a demonic nature which Lord Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita 16.13. So also in 16.12, Krishna says, being bound by these hundreds and thousands of desires, by lust, anger, greed, and they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. So we are always trying to gratify our senses. Because of that only, we are always going to land in trouble. So wealth. So why do we fall a prey to lust, anger, and illegal means of earning things and all that? So the Lord Krishna says everything is illegal in this material world. Okay, whatever you do is not going to be because it is already told that unless you are going to satisfy Krishna, that means only is the correct, is very correct. Otherwise, whatever you are trying to satisfy is trying to satisfy your senses. By satisfying our senses, you can never be correct. So, wealth, or how is wealth to be worshipped? Wealth is worshipped and is referred to as Mother Lakshmi. Mother Lakshmi, or the goddess of fortune, is her position. What is her position? Her position is to serve Lord Narayana. You always see in Vaikuntha, in the Milky Ocean, Mother Lakshmi is always massaging the feet of Narayana. So that is the very position of Mother Lakshmi itself. Then who are we? What are we? Okay, we are like the source of Naras, or the living beings. And Naras are meant to serve Narayana, the guidance of the goddess of fortune. This is herself, Lord Lakshmi herself, saying that, guiding us to serve Lord Narayana. But we are trying to serve our senses. Our six senses, our mind, you want to serve it to the purpose of the fullest, and then finally we land in trouble. So how can we find happiness? We are not going to find happiness in serving the senses. We have to serve the devotional aspect. Then only we can find real happiness. So the living being cannot enjoy the goddess of fortune without serving Narayana. And therefore, whoever desires to enjoy her wrongly will be punished by the laws of nature. So the laws of nature is already dictated. Nobody can change the laws of nature. These laws will certainly make the money itself, and bring about destruction instead of peace and prosperity. So if we are running behind money, then we are going to land with so many problems. So laws of nature do not allow us to accept more than what we actually require for our maintenance. This is simply the arrangement of the law of nature. As much as you want, you can, it is already there. By the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, there is an ocean of salt, because salt is so necessary for living beings. But we should remember, the more you take salt, you are going to be in problem. The less you take salt, you are not going to be satisfied. So the apt method is that how much you require, that much you take. Because if you take like this, there is no need of these storehouses. People will collect, no, they will collect as much as possible. They will say, now is the opportunity for me. I will collect and store in a storehouse so that my downline, my generation, my people can have and enjoy. They don't have to hunt like me. So this is what is causing the real unhappiness. Whatever, if we take whatever is required for us, and we can remain happy, the world is by self-sufficiently sufficient to handle more than the people who are living here. So, but we are very, what to say, we are very greedy. We are very, I think we want to snatch the other person's things. That is when the real unhappiness is starting to fructify. Anyone can collect the amount of salt from the storehouse, but constitutionally he cannot take more than what he needs. If we take more salt, I told you, it will spoil the broth. So of course, for this particular kind of food, you have to give only this much salt. So you collect only that much. So for this particular lifespan of life, we need only this much salt. So we can take that much salt only. So we should not take more. If we take more salt, it will spoil the broth. It is going to eat us. Of course, we have seen people suffering from people who are having more salt in their body. Their sores will be by eating themselves. The body will start biting itself. So that is how the danger of taking more salt. The same principle applies here also. We should not accumulate more wealth. When we search more health, more wealth, then automatically the wealth will start eating you up. So already we know a story, no? A person a Marwadi, who was lying in his deathbed. I think Barak has explained very nicely. The person was lying in his deathbed, and Yamaraj is putting his rope on his neck, and he remembers to his younger son and saying to his younger son, go, did you lock the galla in the shop? Like that, he sent him. So that is the situation. So we are all become like greedy people. So we should not think of accumulating more. Actually, there is a very ample supply, but due to misuse and greed, everything becomes spoiled. So man is therefore suffering due to insatiable desires and lust. Not only man is suffering, but the planet in which he resides, the Mother Earth, represented in Srimad Bhagavatam by the mother cow, is also suffering because of illegalities. So many illegal things are happening. The earth is feeling heavy. Sometimes we see our elders say, I should not be a burden on this earth. So that is because they are frustrated. They are telling it out of frustration. but actually is that we should not harm anybody who are living around us. We should live to ourselves, and we should serve the Supreme Lord Narayana. Then and automatically everything will become peaceful and satisfied. So why we become like this? Because we are deluded by the modes of passion, goodness, and ignorance. So these three ropes, that is the goodness, passion, and ignorance, when we try to grow more in passion, when we try to grow more in ignorance, and also if we are growing more in goodness also, it's going to be a problem, because the whole world does not know Krishna, who is above them and inexhaustible. So we are all like puppets. We are all hanging puppets. Our hands and legs are like this. We are moving because of such a thing. But unless we understand that when we surrender to the Supreme Lord, then ultimately we can actually try to get over this problem. So here we have one beautiful sloka from Bhagavad Gita 10.10. तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतं प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगां तां येन upayanti te. That means those who are all constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come back to me. So the Lord has already given the proposal. How much? 500 years back. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenam upayanti te. So we just have to worship Lord Krishna with love, and then we can, by rendering such devotional service only, and not being merely acquiring the bulk of discriminative knowledge or wealth or anything, then we can know the Supreme Lord as He is. So when we know the Supreme Lord in reality, then we can enter into His pastimes. So before entering the pastime itself, there are so many things we should know. So the verdict of all revealed scriptures, this is the verdict of all the revealed scriptures. So by this process only one can find real happiness. So I think I have spoken a bit much. So with this, I'd like to conclude today's session. So if you all have any reflections, if you all have any sharing, would like to welcome from your side. So thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you, Matrapati Prabhu, for giving this opportunity. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.